boys and girls, pimps and simps, welcome back to the Mac Life. Today's video, we are going to be going over how to become successful in OnlyFans. Now, I work alongside 6 and 7 figure creators, okay, as well as work with managers that handle girls that manage 6 and 7 figures. I am the number one when it comes to anything to do with OnlyFans. Within the people that I work with, I have the mass amount of bioaccumulation of data that no one else online really has. Sure, there are going to be some people doing 8 figures or 9 or whatever from OnlyFans, but I get so much data because I have a Discord server with over 500 members and growing day by day, all just constantly inflooding new data. So when it comes to OnlyFans, I can show you very quickly how to succeed and make money on OnlyFans. And if you're thinking about starting an OnlyFans account or you're already in it, you're a creator or you're a manager, these are the things that you should implement in order to make a shit ton of money. Now, this is kind of a new style of video that I'm doing on YouTube. I normally do a podcast where I talk about business principles, business tips, which I'll continue to do every single day of my life. And then I talk about some OnlyFans and stuff like that as well. But I now have a new playlist on YouTube, and it's called, I changed it today from Success Secrets to Business Teachings. So essentially, I'll be breaking down different business principles that you can apply pretty much no matter what business you do. I'm niching out a little bit, I'm branching out. I'm going to show you things that you can do in order to succeed with your business and really captivate more of that business market in general. Because if you don't know my story, how I first made money was with dropshipping. I used Facebook Marketplace, and I essentially dropship products from AliExpress to begin with, and then build out and built customer supply chains, and build a store, Ozlarks. I had Everyday Girl Fashion. I had all these stores, and it's how I made my first, $100,000 online, and then continued to branch out from there. And then now, obviously, I do consulting and teaching and everything else as well. So when it comes to this stuff, it really works, and it's principles that you can apply to every business. Now, being mostly focused on the OnlyFans industry, today's video is going to be focused around OnlyFans, so make sure you hit subscribe, because I'm dropping 4 videos a day. I drop a podcast, maybe a business principles, 2 reaction videos, or a mix of all different things. So make sure you hit subscribe and the bell notification. Now, I thought the very first thing we should look at, because most of you have already probably done this, which I didn't write here, but if you haven't got this sorted out, you really need to have an exit plan. There's no point participating in any business if you don't have an exit plan. Now, exit plans can look different across the board. Maybe your goal is to build up your business and sell it, okay? That business is going to look very different from a business that you aim to build to provide cash flow every day. Maybe your business is to make enough money in the short term that you can invest in other areas that you're competent, i.e. real estate, maybe stocks, maybe crypto. Maybe that's your plan to make an amount of money in the short term and do that. Maybe your business plan, okay, is to build it to a business that can cash flow for the rest of your life and branch out and become, an online celebrity and more famous, and then you can leverage that and change over time. But you need to have a clear-cut exit plan. And the strategy that I'll leave you to think of if you don't have that yet, because you shouldn't be watching this video if you don't have an exit plan, is that a sailor without a destination has no favorable wind. If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter if you've got a headwind or a tailwind. None of them are beneficial. You need to know where the fuck you're going, what your plan is, okay? So go ahead and figure that out, and then we can get into the stratagems of making money on OnlyFans. So hopefully you've done that. You've hit subscribe, of course. And we are going to look at lead generation, which is the very first thing businesses should focus on. It shouldn't be your branding. It shouldn't be creating all these fucking logos or stupid shit. It should be on generating leads and getting money into the business. Once you have money coming in, you can solve everything else with money. You can pay people to create content. You can pay for better lighting and better setups. You can pay to learn about photography. You can pay to learn ads. You can pay all these things, okay? But you need money coming in. So lead generation. Now, what is lead generation, okay? Lead generation essentially means our ability to acquire new leads for our business. Now, notice how I use the word lead there and not customer. A lead is not a customer. Okay, a lead is a potential customer. So lead generation is essentially our ability to generate potential customers. And that's all you need to understand for lead generation. And when we get into the short-term and long-term marketing down here, we're going to talk about how to do that. But if you don't know what the phrase lead generation is, it is essentially our ability to generate a potential customer. Now, this is the next point. And when I consult with these girls, a lot of girls don't understand, and I'm talking about girls who are turning over $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month. by implementing these very quick things that I'm showing you now, they jump to multiple 6 figures a year, even to 7 figures a year. You know, I've had a girl recently, she was doing 20K a month. We changed a few things with pricing and her understanding of lead quality, okay? And she jumped from doing 20K a month to 60K a month in the space of like 2 weeks. So, what is lead quality? Lead quality is essentially the quality of the customers that we are, the quality of the potential customers that we are attracting. So, we have to understand that this works in a scale or a funnel. Okay, and let's just put it 1 to 10. Quality. Let's look. If someone was a 1, being the bottom of the ladder, what sort of quality would they have? They probably don't know anything about you, your brand, your service. They've never heard of you before. This is the first thing they've seen. And they've just seen maybe a piece of content pop up or an offer or whatever it is. They're a very low level lead. Now let's look at the opposite side of the spectrum. A level 10. They've seen 408 of your posts. They know everything about you. They know they have the money to purchase the service. They're highly interested and know exactly what they're getting. And they're sitting there on their computer ready with their credit card to pay. That's a level 10 lead. So there are different qualities of leads. And understand that your ability to focus higher up the scale will predicate how much money you make in this business. And a lot of people spend the majority of their time focusing on low-level leads in quantity rather than focusing on high-level leads in quality. And I want to repeat what I just said because it's very, very important. A lot of people will focus on low-level leads in quantity where they should be focused on, okay, high-level leads or high-score leads in quality rather than in quantity. And it's very, very important to understand that not all customers should be treated the same. You want to remove this idea and this aspect from your head that all customers should be treated the same. You know, we see it and it's reinforced to us negatively on social media that, you know, they film a YouTube video where they dress like a homeless man and they go and they ask about like buying an Audi R8 and they get treated like shit. And then they're like, well, you should have valued me as a customer. That's an outlier. A very, very small percentage of people are like that. Okay, only a very, very small percent. And then people reinforce and they say, well, you never judge a book by its cover. Wrong. Judge a book by its cover. If you're a salesman, you're looking for people, okay, you're looking for higher level leads and you want to judge people because of the fact that you're looking for higher quality to save time and effectively make more money. If you want to fuck around with quantity and focusing on level 1 people and trying to treat them all the same and getting them to come across, you're going to be a low budget person. You're not going to make much money within your business. You want to focus on lead quality. Now, your follow-up question to that is probably, well, how do I know who is a quality lead and who's not a quality lead? And how do I do that? How do I separate the quality leads from the non-quality leads? And that really comes down to later on here, which is short-term and long-term marketing. So we'll get into that as well. But essentially, you've learned 2 things. Lead generation is what you need to focus on at the beginning of your business, which is generating potential customers. Then you need to understand that there's a difference. Not all customers are treated the same. Your goal is to focus on higher quality leads, i.e. people who are going to pay you more money and pay it to you faster than focusing on low quality leads that take a lot of time and are very stingy. Now, you're going to hear this phrase when you work in the online space. You're going to come across this phrase for business quite often, and it's LTV, lifetime value. So what is the lifetime value of a customer? Now, even if you're a brick and mortar store, this applies as well because an LTV is essentially how much money one customer will bring over the space of their lifetime on average, okay, compared to their acquisition cost. So a lot of people might think if it takes me $100 to get someone into a store at Starbucks and they buy an $8 coffee, I'm at a loss of $92. That's how most people would see it. However, that is incorrect. If you're someone as big as Starbucks and you understand the LTV of your customer, now I can't remember the actual price point here, but it's essentially, from what I remember, one customer at Starbucks is actually worth to them over $1,500 throughout their lifetime. So if they were to spend $100 in ads to get one person through to their store to buy an $8 coffee, you would see that as a poor investment. However, Starbucks would know and say, no, it's a great investment. We spent $100, but over the space of that person's lifetime, they're going to continue to come back and spend on average $1,500 on coffee. So in fact, for the $100 in ads we spent, we got a 15x ROI. Initially, we didn't. We spent $100 and only made back $8, not factoring in product costs. So you would look at it as a loss. But when you understand the lifetime value of a customer, okay, you can look and say that was a very profitable investment. Now, to do this, to understand the lifetime value of a customer, you're going to need data, okay? You're going to have to be around for quite a while, but it's a very important thing to understand early, is that you don't want to focus on the early money that's made by a customer, because later on when you upsell customers and your lead quality is 10 and you upsell to customers that are better quality, okay, they might come in and buy your OnlyFans subscription for $20 a month. And on average, they might stay 2 months. So they're worth $40 to you. And they might buy one picture at $10, which is very incorrect of how you should price. But currently you're saying your LTV is $50 per customer. If you understand that 1 in 100 customers that you have buy a premium, okay, of maybe it's a $5,000 package, which you definitely can charge in this industry. We're not getting into that today. But you charge $5,000, all of a sudden the average of your customers increases massively, okay? Because if 1 in 100 is going to buy this, the average of each customer increases. Not the actual specific customer, the average across the board increases. Because if consistently 1 in 100 will pay $5,000, your LTV moves up from 50. I'm not sure to the correct math, but it probably goes to something like $100. So double. So now we know 3 things. We understand lead generation, which is our ability to find potential customers. Our quality, that not all customers are treated the same. And our LTV. So we understand that customers are worth more to us over a lifetime rather than focusing on the initial shorthand money that we make. And this also ties in with the longer you do business, the more money you'll make because you accumulate more data. The reason most people don't succeed in business is because they're not consistent and they don't stick with it long enough. Yes, you can pivot, you can chop, you can change what you sell, you can do different things and try different strategies. But if you give up on your root cause, okay, which most people do, they're not consistent, they're shiny object fucking chasers, you won't succeed. Okay, the next term we need to know before we get into the marketing side of things is churn rate. So what is churn? Now, churn in business, okay, and this only really applies, it can apply outside, but it only really applies mainly within subscription-based businesses, is our percentage of customers that leave, okay? So if we acquire 10 new customers on average every month, okay, but 5 of them leave after every single month, 5 leave, we have a churn rate of 50% per month. Now, what the problem here is most businesses focus on lead generation, so acquiring potential new customers, and they spend most of their time on client acquisition. If you're acquiring 10 new customers a month, but you're losing 5, what happens is, month 2, okay, now you're losing 10 customers per month, okay, because it increases. And what happens is we reach a point where we acquire 10 new customers a month, but we're also losing 10 a month. So what happens is now our business is at a standpoint, our business is at a cap, and we cannot actually grow. The only ways in which we can grow our business are by cross-selling, reselling, so trying to reacquire old customers, okay, or upselling within our business, or by focusing on reducing churn. So reducing the amount of customers who leave. Now, instead of trying to acquire 10 new customers a month, if we focused our attention on churn and making sure that of those 10 customers, they actually stay on for 3 months instead of 1, we have just 3x'd our business, our profit, because we've already paid to acquire that customer. We've 3x'd our profit already, and usually sometimes more because we have hard costs associated with acquiring customers as well, and fixed costs that are no longer there because it's reoccurring. So you can go so in deep with churn, but a really good book is The Reoccurring Economy, I believe it's called. But essentially you want to get as many books on churn if you're in the OnlyFans industry as possible and focus on churn. Now, I know you're probably wondering, well, what's the best short-term marketing? Because a lot of people, for some reason, they focus all their attention on marketing rather than the frameworks of business. And what's the best long-term marketing? And then what the fuck is this down here? The 4 pillars of leverage. Now, these are what the strategies we're going to use to essentially make money straight away in OnlyFans. You can make money day one, whether you're a creator or a manager. I'm going to show you how you can make money day one. No costs, using Tinder, using IG, using all these different methods. But I want you to go through and really rehash and focus on these things. So remember, number one was actually to have an exit plan. And I want you to focus on these 5 things here. And then in tomorrow's video, we're going to go over short-term marketing. We're going to go over long-term marketing, and we're going to go over the 4 pillars of leverage. So if you're keen for that, leave a comment down below and I'll pump that video out tomorrow. But go ahead and focus on these. And leave an example. If you know an example is okay, or just even what you've learned, leave that as a comment down below so I know that you're learning. And I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it and the bell notification. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Buck up.